coming back to the point, when you do all of that, I just wanted to take you back and rewind, flashback, क्योंकि मुझे एकदम से एक चीज़ याद आ गई कि what was life before on the mic? Because मुझे याद है एक दफ़ा मैं लम्स ओलंपियाड पे आया था और और एलजीएस का एक बैंड आया था जो जो म्यूजिक म्यूजिक कंपटीशन वेस्टर्न म्यूजिक कंपटीशन में जिन्होंने हु बीट माय बैंडमेट्स। हाँ जी, तो बेसिकली जैसे हमें पहले आपको बता रहा था कि हमारा सस्ता जो है ना मुफ्त का हम लोग एक वो प्लेटफॉर्म यूज़ करें जिसकी वजह से हमारे पास रिकॉर्डिंग टाइम लिमिट है। सो वी आर गोइंग टू कंटिन्यू विद व्हाट Daniel was talking about his life before on the mic. Take it away, brother.
Yeah, so just to sum that up, by the way, मुझे अब realize और मैं बहुत ज़्यादा बोलता हूँ. Like interviews with Tarina, but now that I've given the chance, I'll just go. But yeah, I mean, before 2019, before 2020, I had no idea what was going on. The one thing that I felt like was bringing me back to, because a lot of people are awake, but they're not living, so to speak. I wasn't living. I was awake, but was not alive. And I always say this to him, and he doesn't believe me, but one of the people who really pulled me out of that state of mind, there was a lot of people, like obviously Ismail and Zarar and Anush and Temur and all of my close personal friends who were always there for me. But the one guy who intentionally or unintentionally kind of gave me a hand, pulled me up, was Salman Butt. He once unintentionally just said to me, we were on Zoom call, we were on a WhatsApp call at like 3 in the morning, and I just finished eating like a lot of KFC. Let's just say that I was fat as fuck. I was just out of it. I was just like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" And he just said, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" And he just said this to me. He said, "Look at yourself." And then I switched the camera and मैंने अपने आप को देखा, and I was like, "Oh my God, what's happened?" Like, and then I was like, "Bro, are you going to the gym tomorrow?" Because he always told me, "Bro, मेरे साथ gym आ, मेरे साथ gym आ." And and he said, हाँ, bro, gym जा रहा हूँ. क्यों? I was like, bro, मैं कल आ रहा हूँ. And he was like, sure thing, bro, we'll see you there. And he didn't realize it was too late for me. I showed up the next day and we got to work. And I'm no like Greek god chiseled or whatever, but just training, just using my body, just sweating, just feeling adversity, feeling a lack of comfort. That stuff brought me back, and it's been good since.
Yeah, man. I mean, shout out to Salman for not only pulling you out of that hole, but also being such an amazing commentator. I remember the first time I heard him commentate at ARY Warriors 2, I think. I was like, does this guy even know what he's talking about? And then I saw him commentate in IFT2, and I was like, damn, bro, this guy is doing good. He's putting in the work. He knows what he's talking about. He knows, it's like a lot of people say कि यार commentators उनको होना चाहिए जो या तो फाइटर्स रहे हों या जो खुद ट्रेन करते हों, जिनको पता हो कि जो है ना क्या चल रहा होता है अंदर. एंड when you guys, जो IFT2 का पैनल था इस बार, what I saw was that you guys, when you guys were commentating, you guys actually, it felt like someone who knows about the sport is on the mic and they're talking about it.
Yeah.
A lot of the times what happens is that a lot of people don't really जैसे क्रिकेट में होता है, बॉक्सिंग में होता है, ओ ये बहुत बेहतरीन मौका मारा, they don't know what they did, फुटवर्क क्या था, सेटअप क्या था उसके पीछे. कोई भी बात होती है वो उसको जो है ना इग्नोर कर देते हैं. वो सारी जो मेहनत होती है उसको किस तरह जो है ना उसको इग्नोर कर देते हैं, वो उनको नज़र ही नहीं आती और सिर्फ वो बोलते हैं बहुत बेहतरीन मौका मारा है, बहुत ज़ोर का मौका मारा है. एंड that's what we don't want to tell the people. We want to show them how smart you have to be, how well prepared you have to be when you're in there and you fight. So once again, shout out to Salman for that. Shout out to Alisina for also for doing such a great job at IFT2. And they're making your job easy too. And this is exactly how and why we will have more and more people coming in the sport and watching this sport. I mean, our log dekh rahe hain, the people that follow you, that those people, they've come to know about mixed martial art. You want to say something?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to add right there, like, so Salman is one example of this, right? He's not a fighter. He trains. He's not a fighter. I will actually start by saying this. There's a lot of people in Pakistani MMA that I know, once they're done doing what they do, will be excellent commentators. You're on that list. Coach Etisham Karim is on that list if one of his fighters isn't fighting on that card. Memosh Raza is 100% on that list because I did one with Shine Fight. Great. There's a lot of guys, but look, the thing is, and this is what I realized a couple of years ago, uh, कि यार ओके मैं कमेंट्री कर रहा हूँ मैं रिंग अनाउंसिंग कर रहा हूँ मैं अपने आप पे मेहनत कर रहा हूँ दैट्स ग्रेट बट this can't be all right. Ali Sina, I'm lucky he exists. He stopped doing the one-to-one podcast, but I'm so proud of him for how far he's come as a commentator and an in-cage interviewer. He's doing very good. He's shown drastic improvements. Shout out to him. Salman is a similar case. Me and Salman have been fight fans together. मतलब बहुत देर से हम लोग सारे कार्ड साथ देखते सुबह के 5-5 6 6 बजे मिलके कार्ड लाइव देखेंगे कमेंट्री आहिस्ता करके खुद जरा डिस्कशन कर रहे होंगे एंड हाँ ये मानते हैं कि हमें फुल नॉलेज नहीं है एमएमए के बारे में एज यू वुड हैव और कोच एहतशाम वुड हैव बट वही है कि यार मेहनत करनी है टाइम देना है रिसर्च करनी है सुनना है समझना है जहां से कुछ सीख सके सीखना है बेहतर होना है एंड ऑनेस्टली लूबी मैं ढूंढता हूँ कि और भी कोई कमेंटेटर्स हो और भी कोई रिंग अनाउंसर्स हो पाकिस्तान में तो भाई आओ द डोर इज ओपन फॉर एवरीबॉडी मेरे साथ ये हुआ था बहुत साल पहले आई डोंट वांट दिस टू हैपन टू एनीबॉडी एल्स एज वेल आई डोंट केयर इफ आई एम डूइंग रिंग अनाउंसिंग इफ यू आर बेटर देन मी यू आर इन देयर आई डोंट केयर इफ आई एम डूइंग कमेंट्री if you're better than me you're on the desk I'm out it's as simple as that like we need talent. We need the best talent. We need better guys. And I need to push myself as well. If I think about it super selfishly, I need people that I think are like, oh, that guy might get better than me. I need to be better. Everybody needs competition to get better. So देख रहा है ये वीडियो करना चाहता है काम तो डीएम करो भाई पहुंचो इवेंट पे इजी सीन है मतलब कोई वो रिस्ट्रिक्शंस नहीं है.
So you guys have heard it from the royalty of ring announcing and commentating himself that the offer is on the table. If you guys think you have got it, slide into this guy's DMs and let him know, send him a sample of what you guys are capable of, and then you guys could be the future of the Pakistani mixed martial arts commentating or ring announcing or post-fight interviews. खैर ये तो थोड़ी सीरियस बातें होंगी अब जरा एक बात जो मेरे दिमाग में थी obviously you are a podcast person and you're a mixed martial arts journalist as well. तो obviously कोई ना कोई controversies होती हैं जो आपके दिमाग में आती होंगी कि यार इस बात की controversy होनी चाहिए ऐसा है ये वैसा है तो let me try and come up and dig some controversy. Like I mean I'm not a journalist. I don't know. I know I'm going to do a shitty job, but then मेरे लिहाज से जो controversy बन सकती है ख़वातीन हज़रात आप देख सकते हैं कि हमारे टेक्निकल इश्यूज़ हो गए फिर से टेक्निकल इश्यूज़ पर ये हुआ कि दानियाल को कोई कॉल आई है उसके फ़ोन के ऊपर आई होप कोई इमरजेंसी ना हो क्योंकि डू नॉट डिस्टर्ब पे उसने फ़ोन रखा था लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी कॉल्स आ रही हैं उसके मतलब बिकॉज उसको बार बार फ़ोन कर रहे हैं तो यस दानियाल इज़ बैक एंड हमारी टेक्निकल डिफ़िकल्टीज टाइम दूर हो चुकी है सो the floor is over again yours my brother the questions were I'll remind you your favorite podcast your favorite episode with any athlete your favorite episode with a superstar or a musician or whoever and your favorite crowd.
Okay, favorite. I'll start with the favorite music or non-MMA podcast. It's just like not a lot of people have heard of it. It didn't really blow up that much. It's still there though. I really would love for you guys to go and watch the Shorba Noor interview. Shorba Noor is Shazad Noor. He's a musician, yeah, and he's had a lot of changes in his music. He's a great guy. He's a music teacher as well. But he doesn't hold anything back in that interview. He talks about everything very honestly. He talks about music, why he makes it. He talks about death. It gets really dark as well. I almost cried during that one. That's why I remember this. So yeah, Shorba Noor on the mic. Search it, you'll find it. That's one of my favorite music interviews. Although even in music, there's like so many amazing guests that I've had, like Rizzi, like Manu, like Noor, like Natasha, like Zarar, like all of them. But the Shorba Noor podcast was kind of special for me. Favorite MMA podcast. Now there's the controversy. If I have to pick a specific episode, then I think it has to be the first in-person interview I got to do with Bashir Ahmed. Mainly because, look, I love a couple of people on my podcast, and I'm just going to name them right now so they're not mad at me. You, Uloomi, are an incredible guest. Memosh is an awesome guest. Shazib Brin was such a fun guest both times he was on. And Heather Furman is just money. He's brilliant on the mic. I swear to God, that guy's a superstar. Anita is brilliant. But Bashir's podcast, the first one, the reason it takes the cake is because I'm obsessed with history. Like that's another thing. मुझे history और तारीख और जो भी हो चुका है पाकिस्तानी में उस चीज से बहुत obsession है. So when I got to sit in front of Bashir और मैंने सवाल पूछना शुरू किया about ये कब हुआ, ये कैसे हुआ, ये क्यों हुआ, ये जब उसने बातें बताना शुरू हुई तो आई रियलाइज यार ये सब चीजें तो मुझे भी नहीं पता. मैं इस चीज के अंदर सबसे ज्यादा interested हूँ. So that podcast is like a story, like an hour-long story, and I just love that podcast a lot. Favorite crowd? I'll break that into two as well. I think my favorite crowd ever was actually जो मेरी जिंदगी का पहला concert था, Rhythm Fest in Lahore. ये बिल्कुल कोविड के बाद पहला concert था पूरे शहर में. और मुझे पता लगा ये हो रहा है. मैंने उनको डीएम किया कि मैं होस्ट करना चाहता था. तब तक मैंने कॉन्सर्ट होस्ट नहीं किया था. ज्यादा एमएमए इवेंट्स भी नहीं किया था. कॉन्सर्ट तो बिल्कुल नहीं किया था. उन लोगों ने कहा था आ जाओ लेकिन हम आपको पैसे नहीं देंगे. आई सेड श्योर. यू नो व्हाट आई मीन. उस पॉइंट अब तो ऐसा नहीं होता भाई. अब तो अगर बुक करना है तो ऑब्वियसली यू आर गोना चार्ज यू. दिस इज व्हाट आई डू. बट उस टाइम पे आई वाज लाइक ब्रो स्क्रू इट. कर कर जा. मैंने कहा ठीक है डन. कोई जरूरत नहीं. आई विल बी देयर. वो कोविड के बाद पहला इवेंट था उलूमी. 20 to 25,000 people were in attendance. I've never felt anything like that in my life. They were here, and all of them were here, and I couldn't believe it. Like when I would just like fuck with them, like do stuff with them, like interact with them, they would respond. And that roar of 20,000 people, I'm still chasing that, you know, to this day. It was brilliant. And I wasn't that good. तब तो मैं शुरू कर तब मुझे पता भी नहीं था क्या करना है. और उस कॉन्सर्ट में बहुत मसले हुए. एक रायट होने लगा था. यंग स्टनर्स ऐसे नहीं पहुंच ही नहीं सके वेन्यू पे. पूरा कैंसिल होने लगा था. लेकिन फिर वो आ गए. तो फिर वापस जब मैं आया स्टेज पे आफ्टर ऑलमोस्ट गॉट कैंसिल आफ्टर द मेन अट्रैक्शन एंड देन व्हेन आई अनाउंस्ड देम, oh my God, that was the greatest concert. That, but also the worst. You know what I'm saying? MMA में actually best audience I've ever seen. IFT2, जो अभी हुआ है काला शाह में. It beat any audience I've seen. It was better than any real world audiences are crazy. But real world audiences come in with knowledge, knowing कि fighter कौन है क्योंकि उनके दोस्त हैं. IFT वाला crowd had no idea who these guys were. But man, they were so hot. I was right in front of them. Hussein Janturi would punch, they would cheer. He would kick, they would cheer. That guy could sneeze on his opponent and they would go crazy. It was the best crowd I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, these are the
Word.
four.
What do you think about the crowd that you saw in Gilgit-Baltistan at Usman Wazir's promotion?
Yeah, okay. You know what? I looked over that one. GB does have an insane crowd. Stand corrected on that one. Every time I've been to GB, those guys are nuts. But again, I will say this, like they are probably the loudest crowd, the most involved crowd. They're the most passionate. But again, they know who Usman Wazir is. They know who to cheer for. The IFT2 crowd, I was really proud of that because again, like I said, not a lot of these guys are hometown superstars. They don't have a following. Most of the guys in that cage, you know, the crowd doesn't know who they are. So that was great. But yeah, I would say GB, anytime I've been in Gilgit-Baltistan, oh my God, bro, those guys know how to party. You guys know how to party. Like, I love you guys.
You know, now you know where we get it from. Acha, moving on to now that you spoke about the how good the crowd was at IFT2, like how did you feel? Sabse pehle to tell me about how IFT went logistically. You know, because IFT, in my opinion, has an image कि वो हमेशा late start करते हैं, कुछ ना कोई गड़बड़ हो जाती है, considering it's Pakistan. But then again, these guys have the finances to do everything on time. उसके बावजूद भी चीज़ें late हुई, जगह इनकी अपनी है. There's a lot of things जो कि that belong to these people. But then even then, there was a lot of problems related to time, and I heard कि पाकिस्तानी athletes को time पे खाना भी नहीं मिला और वो सारी facilities जो है ना Iranians को दी जा रही थी. ठीक है, हम लोग मेहमान नवाज लोग हैं, हम लोग अपने guests को जो है ना बहुत अच्छे से treat करते हैं, but इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि अपने ही athletes को जो है ना भूखा मार दें. Could you just quickly run over what happened and what exactly IFT2 was, the insides and the outside?
For sure. I'd love to talk about IFT at great length. But I'm going to start with the positives, then I'll go on to everything that we really want to talk about. The positives, the good things that came out of this. First of all, this was one of the best social media events that we've seen in a while when it comes to Pakistani MMA. If you go to those videos before the event, post before the event, even the ones that are going up now, they're doing great numbers, which means a lot of people in Pakistan and a lot of people in Iran really, really invested into this event. I haven't seen, and I track all of this very carefully and very closely. I haven't seen any one promotion go from zero to like almost 2,000 followers after one event, which is again a good indicator. In 2,000, शायद छोटा number लगे किसी को, but again, Pakistani MMA, that means you're doing something right. So the marketing, the build up, Discover Pakistan's involvement was great. And more importantly than anything else, a lot of our great fighters, like you said, got an opportunity to go up there and show what they're really made of. So, Babar Ali, Rizwan Ali, Rafiq Afridi, Asad Varaich, these were really important fights for all of these. Sanjan Turi's first international fight. It was a very important fight for a lot of these guys. Even someone like Akib, even though he lost, this is going to be something that he's going to remember for the rest of his life and train for. So from a positive perspective, it was great in terms of marketing. The crowd turnout was fantastic. I didn't expect this many people would come out to SA Gardens to watch some fights, but they did. Some of my close friends came, and they don't even live anywhere close to SA Gardens. So, like from that perspective, this was a great big event, and I couldn't be more proud of SA Gardens, Baba Raja, all of these guys. You got to give them their flowers. They're doing something for Pakistani MMA. They're putting out these fights that no one else can do right now. But again, it's not all positive, right? It's not all great, even though you can't emphasize enough on the good things that happened at this event. Like you said, didn't start on time, wasn't set up issues, pardon me. There's a lot of issues when it came to stuff like, just something very simple as rain, right? There was no forecast. There was a lot of rain. That means the setup process is pushed back by another 3 hours, getting the water out of the venue and out. And yeah, generally, I would say it wasn't the best managed setup that I've seen, in the sense that, like we got there early just to make sure it's all set up. And yeah, we got done with it a bit late, but this stuff should have been done well beforehand. The generator wasn't there for these really little things, which, like you said, should be addressed by now, not just by them, but by anyone doing an event, Pakistani MMA. And I hate that this is a thing, but really, Uloomi, I can't give you any other answer other than this is just what happens in Pakistan. I will never accept this answer when somebody tells me to my face, कि yes, yes, hota hai. But I tried rattling my brain as to why these things happen, but this is really the only answer I can come up with at this time. But yeah, the event setup, look, it was late. It got a bit late. I'm going to do what I can to try and make sure the event starts on time next time. I know everyone in the SA Gardens community is also very, very seriously looking into this. But there's also some other issues with this event that, I had a problem with straight up. It was some of the matchmaking. And look, I love Muzammil Aziz. He's a friend of mine. Uh, but yeah, some of those fighters shouldn't have been in there. And just think of it from a logical perspective, right? There were supposed to be 13 fights, right? But after IFT, I think we can easily say that we can take 5 of those guys off that card. Not because they're bad fighters, not because we hate them, but maybe because they're not ready for such a big challenge, right? You have to understand, matchmaking isn't just getting a Pakistani guy, getting another guy, and matching them up. It's about the right guy facing the right guy so that we can create the best fight. Um, yeah, some guys were just clearly mismatched, and I wasn't happy about that. Like the first fight, Coach Rizwan Aghil. Now that was a fight, even though we lost. That was a fight because Aghil went down in the first minute. Coach Rizwan went down. Yeah, the commission also, the PMMF also needs to pull their socks up a bit. Because again, there's a lot of confusion with the rules. Irfan Ibrahimi was throwing a stool at the cage. You know what I'm saying? Like the Iranian coach. Because there was some confusion. Yeah, apparently something with the knee that you're not allowed to throw. I'm not really sure myself either, but that was a problem. Them getting there on time, kitting up the fighters, stuff like that. This is stuff which first event I understand, but fifth event, come on, what are we doing here? They need to pull up their. I'm just saying this publicly because no one says this publicly. No one ever says this stuff out loud. I'm not taking names or blaming someone. This is a collective failure. I'll take blame for this as well. But this is just the truth. Yeah, some guys in there, I don't want to name them or whatever, but I'm not trying to say they're bad fighters. I'm just saying maybe they weren't ready for this challenge. Amanullah Boulder against Sayyid Ali Asli was one of the most one-sided fights I've seen in my life. Tina Ramizanzadeh in the second fight. This is the guy who was supposed to face Irfan Ahmed, by the way. Irfan Ahmed said he's injured, so who do we put in? 19-year-old Zubair Khan, who has a pube stash. Like, I love Zubair Khan. I have no issues with him, but he's not ready for an international fight. And hey, if nothing else, we have 12 fights. Cancel some. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to
Pube
put on that
stash.
many fights. Yeah, sorry, go on, Lou.
Pube stash.
Fight right now. It's right there, the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. This is not okay. And we let that guy fight Sina Ramizanzadeh, and this is his pro career as well. You know what I'm saying? If Irfan Ahmed's out, scrap that fight. And look, why are we booking 12 international fights from the start? I'm just asking a question here. It's not, you're just going to be saving a lot more money if you have less international fights. And also, मैं pro wrestling की दुनिया से आता हूँ. Pro wrestling dictates that your main attractions should stay your main attractions. So if you're selling Pakistan versus Iran, do one, do two, maybe do three fights. But any more than that, and you're really diluting the appeal of Pakistan versus Iran. You're diluting the fact, you make it look like it's common. It's not common to have Pakistan-Iran fights. And I'm so glad we got 11 or 12 of them. But come on. You know what I mean? We don't need to watch the same thing over and over and over again to get the point. The main attraction is these three Iran fights. Stick around till the end. That's how, you should do it. But in this case, like I said, there were problems with the matchmaking committee. And I know, there was no committee. There's just problems with the matchmaking. But I know Babu Raja also feels the same, and he's going to be looking into it, and a solution is going to be there. So not to worry. But these are just my honest assessments. You know what I'm saying? This is, this was not right. A lot of these fights shouldn't have been happening. Avais Raja, again, love him to death. He hasn't fought for 4 years. And what are you doing? You're putting him in there against a guy, Nisam Rasuli, and he gets finished in 12 seconds, and then he announces that my comeback starts now. No, his comeback should have started at a different event where he fought another guy, gotten the experience of being back in the cage, felt that he's good enough, and then seeing that he's good enough, he should have fought a guy from Iran, not like this. So that was my other problem with the event. Other than that, honestly speaking, it looked like a big event. It felt like a big event. Everyone there felt like it's a big fight feel, and it is honestly one of the biggest events in Pakistan. I couldn't be more proud of SA Gardens and Babu Raja. They spent on Geo Super, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? That is a win, a big win anytime MMA is on TV. So net positive, but obviously there's a lot of problems.
Of course, there's always going to be positives and negatives in any event, but then I'm going to use the word us, or our, that it's our job to make the event have more positives than the negatives. Obviously, पाकिस्तान में चलता है यही होना है, लेकिन कब तक हम लोग यही रोना रोते रहेंगे? हमारा पड़ोसी मुल्क जो है वो चांद पे पहुंच गया है, और हम अभी भी जो है ना इस तरह की बातें करें, भाई पाकिस्तान में सब चलता है, and we're still trolling and we're still memeing. This means that we need to step up. It's not that we don't have the potential, we don't have the resources. जुगाड़ लगाने में हम सबसे तेज़ हैं. अगर जुगाड़ इस्तेमाल करें तो इस टाइम पे भी जुगाड़ का दिमाग चलाएं तो बहुत आगे चल सकता है, लेकिन चलो जुगाड़ ही अगर लगा लें तो जुगाड़ भी ऐसा लगा सकते हैं कि हम लोग बहुत बेहतरीन इवेंट पुल ऑफ कर सकते थे, बहुत ही अच्छी जो है ना तरीके से ये इवेंट को हम पुल ऑफ कर सकते थे कि इस इवेंट में नेगेटिव से ज़्यादा पॉजिटिव्स हों. But then again, things will take time. Obviously, this is still, I would say, the sport is still in its baby steps. It's like in its teenagers now. It's early teenagers now. The baby steps are over the teenagers. Someone has to take control. Someone has to take charge, and then we have to make sure that we tell, these guys, whoever has the money or whoever the producer of the events are, in my opinion, they need to have some consultants with them who are fighters, who are athletes. जब तक कोई खुद से फाइटर्स या एथलीट्स इनके साथ कंसल्टेंसी नहीं करेंगे, इनको समझ नहीं आएगी कि इवेंट कैसे होगा.